Our top story, marking the one-year anniversary of the siege of the U.S. Capitol. Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us for First at 4:30. I'm Tram Mai.
And I'm Kariba Devine, looking live right now at the Capitol. It is a calm January evening as the nation reflects on one of the darkest chapters in our nation's history.
A year ago today, a mob of pro-Trump rioters breached the People's House and stormed the Capitol in an attempt to defy the result of the 2020 election. January 6th didn't end on January 6th, and it didn't end today. It's still going to be with us for a long time. And here in Arizona, we're seeing the ripple effect at our Capitol and our elections. Team 12 political insider Bram Resnick joins us now to put this all into a bigger context. And Bram, first off, we have a new legislative session starting Monday. What kind of new laws could we see that might affect how we vote?
Well, Tram, when we say every day in Arizona is January 6th, remember, we're the only state where Republicans launched an election review. That review indulged the lie that incited the insurrection, that Donald Trump won the 2020 vote. The review was pushed by Republicans in our legislature after more than half of them called for Congress to throw out the state's vote for Joe Biden last January 6th. Those lawmakers returned to work on Monday, and the Republican majority in the legislature is still expected to call for a slew of laws that could change the way we vote and how our elections are run. Tram?
Bram, what about the midterm elections coming up in November? How will the big lie play out in our elections?
Well, this is really interesting. Let's look at two races in particular, maybe the most important votes you'll cast in November. We're electing a new governor and a new Secretary of State. That's Arizona's top elections officer. Several Republican candidates for those offices deny without any evidence that President Joe Biden won the 2020 election. So, aside from all the issues, taxes, education, immigration, here's something else voters need to consider. The new governor and Secretary of State will have to certify the 2024 presidential election in Arizona. Which candidates do you trust to respect voters' wishes and do their duty to certify the election? Voters have never had to ask that question, but after January 6th and what's happened here in Arizona, we do. Tram?
And Bram, another big headline this week. Maricopa County came out with their response to the partisan review of our 2020 election results. And they had some pretty harsh words for it, saying virtually every finding was either wrong or flawed, and the people in charge had no idea what they were doing. So what kind of impact will Maricopa County's report have?
Well, we have an answer to that. A few hours ago, Republican Senate President Karen Fann, she's the person who authorized the 6-month partisan review, responded to Maricopa County's scathing report. And get this, Fann declared victory. Kind of a bizarre response. Her logic, the county acknowledged it found some questionable ballots, 87 out of 2.1 million cast. That's 0.004% of all ballots. Fann did not say that her review claimed incorrectly there were 53,000 questionable ballots. Big difference. But what we've learned over the last several years is that it takes a long time for the truth to catch up to a lie, and it's unlikely the Maricopa County review will shake anyone from their beliefs.
All right, Bram, always great insight from you. We appreciate it. Thank you.